Donald Trump is a time traveler, the theory that sounds insane until one begins to break it apart piece by piece. And it starts with one of the greatest minds of the modern world, Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla died on January 7, 1943 inches, New York, in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. When his body was discovered, there were more than 80 suitcases in that room filled with inventions, notes, patents, designs, and private diaries. But the most mysterious part wasn't the list of inventions. It was what Tesla had been working on before his death. He claimed that he had discovered something beyond electricity, a way to bend time and space. After his death, the US government immediately secured the room. And here comes a verified historical fact. The man assigned to examine Tesla's documents was John G. Trump, an MIT engineer specializing in high-voltage physics, and the uncle of Donald Trump. This is documented in FBI archives. John Trump publicly claimed that Tesla's papers contained nothing dangerous or revolutionary, but researchers believe he intentionally downplayed their content. Why? Because in the years following his examination of Tesla's work, John Trump began developing advanced energy systems, radiation projects, and high-voltage particle technologies tied to military applications. Meanwhile, Tesla had written before his death that he had discovered a method of manipulating the temporal field time itself, and now comes one of the strangest connections. At the end of the 19th century, a book was published, written by 𝘫𝐿𝐴. Its title, The Travels and Adventures of Little Baron Trump. Inside the book, the main character is a boy named Baron Trump. He comes from a wealthy New York family, he lives in a grand residence, he discovers portals through time, and in modern reality, Donald Trump has a son, his name Baron Trump, born more than a century after the book was written. A coincidence? Maybe, but it gets stranger. 4 years after the first book, Lockwood published another one, The Last President. In this story, a wealthy New Yorker, living in a building on Fifth Avenue, launches a political campaign for the presidency, becomes president, and his election triggers chaos, riots, protests, a divided nation. Now compare that to real life. Trump Tower stands on Fifth Avenue. Donald Trump is a wealthy New Yorker. He ran for president. He won. And the USA experienced massive protests and political turmoil. Is that just coincidence? Or something far stranger? But here's another key detail about 𝘫𝐿𝐴 Lockwood. He wasn't just an author. He was a lawyer specializing in cases involving inventions and patents. He had access to circles connected with experimental science and emerging technology of his era. If someone in the late 1800s gained access to temporal knowledge, to visions or records of future timelines, they might choose to encode that knowledge in fiction disguised as fantasy. Meanwhile, Donald Trump himself once said, "My uncle was a brilliant man. He told me a lot about science and energy." What exactly did John Trump tell him? And what did John Trump really see in those Tesla documents? Some speculate that John Trump may have preserved Tesla's discoveries, understood them, and shared this knowledge with his nephew. Now imagine this scenario. If someone could travel into the future, if someone could observe the decades ahead, they might return to the past and begin strategic positioning, buying real estate, building networks, accumulating capital, constructing influence, preparing for a future presidency that they already knew would happen. And the name Baron, matching a character from a 19th century manuscript, could be a signal, a marker, a breadcrumb. Then consider one more detail. Whenever Donald Trump is confronted with theories about time travel, he never laughs. He never dismisses them. He never mocks them. He simply says, "I'm familiar with that idea." A curious response for a man who normally reacts aggressively to claims he considers absurd. So what we have is verified FBI records about Tesla's seized documents, a real MIT scientist, John Trump, who analyzed them, real references to advanced temporal ideas, real books describing events uncannily similar to modern history, real matching names, real matching addresses, and real historical echoes that seem to ripple forward in time. Is this all random coincidence? Is it synchronicity? Is it predictive fiction? Or is there a hand guiding history from behind the curtain, one that has already seen the future?